Wealth Footprints, Volume 1, 13 Stories on the Path to Success. This is an incredible book written by 13 experts who share their knowledge, their experiences, their expertise, and their stories in order to help you move from where you are to where you want to be. It is about looking at what we have and where we are. Hi. This is Clarity Coach Lucy, and this is Tuesday Talks at 3. Welcome to our episode. We celebrate the women authors who have decided to impact their environment, both internally and externally. Specifically, those Wealth Footprints, Volume 1 authors. They have come together and decided to stand together and be counted because they believe they have something to share. And today we ask the question, what are the experiences that you've had that can be lessons for someone else? Please share your thoughts and contribution here on the live chat, and we will sample them. And I will just check that indeed we are live and see who is already here with us as we continue with our talk today on celebrating women authors, specifically the ones of Wealth Footprints, Volume 1. And yes, indeed, we are live. We've been live for the last 1 minute. So welcome to this episode today, where we are celebrating co-authors, my co-authors in this book that we have written together, Wealth Footprints, Volume 1. And I'll take you through the 4 authors who have graced this particular platform in the last month. And they have been able to leave a story here with us. Hopefully, these stories have inspired you. We start off with Monica Malaquen. Monica Malaquen, her title is The Spaces Inside and Around Us. Monica takes us on a journey. She takes us on a journey through the rooms inside and around us and demonstrates how we can create beauty through character pieces and classic style. The diversity of what we bring to the table is key in knowing self. Monica is anchored in growth, inspiration, and gratitude. The thoughts that come to the table at the moment are, what kind of growth are you looking at? How do you perceive growth? What is your definition of growth? Is it just being a better person than you were a few minutes ago, yesterday, last week, and last month? Growth just means that we have changed. We are moving from a position that we were to a position that we are now, and we are hopeful about the position that we will be in. And this is inspirational. What are you inspired by? What is it that you do for inspiration? Do you read books? Do you follow others? Do you travel? Are you inspired by the happenings in life? Are you inspired by the creation around you, the environment around you? And as you look at growth and inspiration, what fills you? Is it gratitude and appreciation? These are things that drive Monica. And Monica totally believes that we have to start from the inside out. And even as she takes us on the journey through the rooms inside and around us, she is very careful to say that we must fuel our inner self. The tips that she leaves us with are 3. The first one is the power of your story. Your story can only be told by you. It is a shame that mostly we do not tell our stories. We wait for other people to tell our story according to their perceptions. Who better to tell the story than yourself? Because in that story that you tell, there are lessons to be learned. And only you can share how you have walked your path, because you walk it alone, and the kind of lessons that you have found on this path, the kind of successes that you have found on this path, something to share. The second takeaway that she shares with us is the quality of your interior space determines the quality of your life. Very well put. If you think about it, the chaos that is in your life or the lack of chaos can be reflected in your interior space, the quality of your interior space. It can also be reflected in your life. One leads to the other. The focus or the lack of focus in your life can be reflected right back to your interior space. If we were to walk into your office, your home, or the environment that you most probably can be found, we will see one or two things. We'll either see how well you're doing or how you are not doing well. This is very clear because of the choice that you make. So make it a point to have quality interior spaces that are able to determine the quality of your life, because this is a true reflection of how you live. From something as simple as color coordination to lack of color coordination, something as simple as matching pieces to not matching them at all. This tells us the kind of character that you are. So what is it that you want to portray? Do you want to portray an abstract lifestyle? It will be seen in your interior spaces. It will also be seen as the person who is pouring out, because this will be your character. The third tip that she leaves us with in her book is that the interior design industry is a large cake. There is a piece for everyone. And such is life. Life is big. It should be eaten with a big spoon. There's enough life for everybody. Do not shy away from living your life because you are comparing yourself to other people, to other instances, to other environments, and therefore you rob yourself the opportunity to live your life today. It is unfortunate that as we lie on our dying bed, on our deathbed, we tend to have more regret than gratitude. So let us work towards that gratitude as we come to the end of our lives, so that today we can live the best life. And when that time comes, when our number is called, we can say, this is my story, and it was a powerful one. Monica Malaquin, the title, The Spaces Inside and Around Us. My other fellow co-author is Loy Kwagala, and the title of her book is The Absolute Success Image. Loy Kwagala takes presence to the max with Absolute Success Image and proves that true image is not on the outside. Real impact starts from the inside out, and the classics cannot be faked. We must mind our image. So we asked Loy, what is personal image, Loy, and what does it mean to you? Why is it important to mind your image? Well, Loy gave us a formula, and Loy said that thinking great, image of the mind, and looking great, image of the body, equals feeling great. And this is the formula for an absolute success image. It gets you thinking great, the image of the mind. What is it that you are feeding your mind? And what is it that you're pouring out from your mind? What are you attracting? What words are you sending out into the universe? Something to think about. Looking great. Is it the way you walk into a room? Is it the way you show up? Is it the way that you dress? Looking great. The image of the body. Now these two, when you have the image of the mind and the image of the body, this is the formula for absolute success image. So definitely you want to do something about it. And you must start with knowing yourself and impacting your environment, both inside and outside. And one of the 3 tips that Loy Kwagala leaves us with in her book is image starts from inside out. And she emphasizes the importance of knowing how to feed yourself. And when we talk about feeding yourself, it cuts across from the information that you are consuming to the food that you're consuming to the environment that you are in. You need to be mindful and make it very positive for you. The second tip that she leaves us with in the book is our depth, impact, and essence provide the foundation for what people perceive. Are you convicted about who you are? Do you trust and believe in self? This comes out every time that you present yourself to the world. Therefore, what kind of depth are you going for? What kind of impact? This essence is what people see, and this is how people decide who you are. So why not tell them who you are? Why not think great? Why not look great? Why not make your life image and impact an intentional journey? Loy Kwagala, the title of her book is The Absolute Success Image. Today we are celebrating my fellow co-authors in the Wealth Footprints, Volume 1. The question for today is, what are the experiences you've had that can be lessons for someone else? And I'm just going to check our live feed to see who is here with us. We've got Sally Havere. Great to see you here, Sally. Great to see you. And you say, here I am. And we've got Kavi Mwendwa. We've got Jane Kuvuna. And we've got Catherine Jiru. Welcome, ladies, to Tuesday Talks at 3. I would love for you to share with us here the contribution on the response to the question for the day, which is, what are the experiences that you've had that can be lessons for someone else? Today's question is very specific. It is about your experiences. Nobody else can live your experiences. Therefore, you know what happened before the experience, during the experience, and after the experience. You know how you felt before, during, and after. And you know how it has impacted your life today. It could be that it has impacted you so much that you have changed your narrative. It could be that it has impacted you that you have feelings of fear and you do not want to move forward. Did you know that we can also be fearful of success? Did you know how powerful you are? And at times it is your mind, your brain that is protecting you from this fear and holding you back from realizing your full potential. Today is an invite to you to pull up on your experiences and write your story in the same way that my co-authors and I have written our story in Wealth Footprints, Part 1, Volume 1. These experiences are very important because you share what you have gone through and how it has impacted you. And this can be a lesson for somebody else. So please share your thoughts and contribution here on the live chat, and we will sample them. As we go on, we are looking at Lucy Njine. The title of her book is The Big School at the End of the Tarmac Road. Now, Lucy shares her experience of rising above childhood, a childhood that many would not survive, just in order to live in love, forgiveness, spiritual and financial abundance. Lucy proves that the start does not define the end. Lucy Njine encourages us to step out of the victim mentality and embrace responsibility. She introduces us to the big school concept. The big school concept is that lessons never end. Be ready to keep learning. In these very words, we must also be ready to unlearn so that we can learn. When Lucy speaks about stepping out of the victim mentality, this rings true for many of us. Whenever things happen around us in our environment, we can choose to be one of three things. We can choose to be in a freeze mode, where we stick our head in the sand, I beg your pardon, where we stick our head in the sand, just like an ostrich would do, and hope that everything will just go away. And by the time we get our head out of the sand, it will be okay. That is one way to look at life. The other way is to be in the victim mentality. Whatever it is that happens, we go into blame mode and we blame everything. We have no responsibility at all. We blame society for having decided for us how our lives would pan out. We don't question. We blame the powers that be for making certain decisions for me in my life. We don't question. We don't take responsibility. We blame our loved ones around us for turning out the way they did, for one reason or the other. We don't take responsibility of the actions that could have contributed to them turning out in this way. So are you in that victim mentality? Is it about time that you stepped out of it? The third area that you could be looking at, or the third option that you could consider, is being a creator. With every situation that happens in your life, you choose to see the opportunity. You choose to intentionally see how you can move forward, you can grow from whatever has happened. You take the lessons and you move forward, because no situation is permanent in our lives. So there's three ways that you can look at life: freeze mode, victim mode, or creator mode. And I leave that to you. Which one would you choose? Now, Lucy Njine shared with us tips on how to optimize our mindsets and positively impact our true potential. Our mindsets are powerful. The mindset is that thing that helps you in autopilot to react to whatever is happening around you. Lucy encourages us to challenge the known. What is it that you believe that you know about yourself? Challenge it and look for the facts, look for the truth. And if you find none, then you want to be able to create a new narrative and consider other perspectives. Perhaps you were wrong. Perhaps you have been wrong all along. It's not the end. We just need to challenge what we know and look for a way out towards growth. The second tip that Lucy Njine has left us with in her book is dare to dream big. Dare to dream big and take our dreams abundantly huge. They are free. And when our dreams are free, we are allowed to have poetic freedom with our dreams. They're ours. They have no witnesses at all. You are the only one who knows what you dreamt. Now, take it down from the shelf and put a plan to it. Bring your dream to fruition. Tell us about your dream, but we want to see your dream come true. The third one that she leaves us with on the tips in her book is believe in yourself. Now, once you believe in self, it is then easier to step into your dream, work the plan, and you've got this. And you move forward. The successes that you will experience will motivate you to move forward. The lessons that you will glean from this journey will make you stronger. Because anything that is a challenge in life is there to make you stronger. If it is not making you stronger, then it is not a challenge worth taking. So believe in yourself. Lucy Njine, her title is The Big School at the end of the tarmac road. The next co-author is Christine Apale. The title of her book is Renewal and Abundance. Christine shares practical ways that women can step into a new life. And this is trading average for abundant and embracing all that life has to offer. Many a time we just walk through life. We don't take time to smell the coffee. And Christine encourages us to do this. Because when we have to start over again, it can be a very huge challenge, but one that has a lot of lessons if this is the road that we decide to take. Starting over can be a lonely journey. This alone can cause you to sink further into what may seem like an endless pit. And when you think of endless pits, you think of darkness, even depression. And in darkness, you think of being alone, that there's no light at the end of the tunnel. And this itself can scare you from moving forward. Christine encourages us that we are not alone. That even when we think that God is not with us, He is indeed with us. And He is working with us to make us better versions of ourselves. Now, the energy shift is hard to do. Christine assures us this. But she says that nothing good comes easy and nothing sustainable comes easy. We want to be able to have something that is long lasting and not fly by night. Now, to have this, we must be willing to put in the work, because failure is not an option in Christine's books. Christine further advocates to get help, even if that help is just someone to talk to, or to pray with, or an accountability partner. Just get help, Christine says, and you'll be glad that you did. The takeaways that Christine leaves us with in her book are things that we need to know for renewal and abundance. And that God is with us, even in those darkest of times. Have faith. Stay grounded in that faith. And remember that no situation is permanent, and you will come out and you give thanks and appreciation, for God carried you through it. Christine says defeat is a choice, and so is picking up and moving forward. If you were to make a count, you should always be able to pick up more times than fall down. This way, you are choosing to move forward. And last but not least, she encourages us to get help. Christine Apale, the title of her book is Renewal and Abundance. We continue to celebrate women authors out there, my fellow women authors, in this book that we are calling Wealth Footprints, Volume 1, 13 stories on the path to success. Our question today is, what are the experiences that you've had that can be lessons for someone else? And I'm just going to check in our live stream to see whether we've got any contributions. We've got Rosebell is here. Welcome, Rosebell. Good to see you here. Yes, and we can still see that Sally is still here, Kavi is still here, Jane and Catherine. And I actually encourage you ladies to share with us your experiences or any takeaway that you have. At this point, I would like to introduce my part in the book. My title is Awakening Self, and this is my book. Now, in Awakening Self, I found that when I stepped out of my own way, I got to go up and smash ceilings. I was standing in my own way because of limiting beliefs. Once I was able to just step out of my own way, I went from an observer to an impact maker. I could never have imagined that I would have been on a live session like this, speaking on a platform a platform where this information will never be forgotten. I never knew that this day would come. In fact, I am so proud to be here because I am telling my story. And because the internet does not forget, I am leaving a legacy. My story will be remembered way beyond the time that I leave, the time that my number comes up. So join me as I read from my book, part of my story. And I can see that there's actually a comment here, and I can see, Rosebell says, awesome to be here. Thank you so much, Rosebell. And Jane Kubuna says, yes, you are an impact maker. Thank you so much, Jane, for recognizing and celebrating me. And I am going to read from my book titled Awakening Self. I'll read from a chapter, which is Finding More of Me. And if you have bought my book, I encourage you to move to page 19. And on page 19, I will read, I am a life coach. And while it may seem like we can coach people on mastering life, that is not it at all. Each of us can only account for our own lives in the final analyses. Similarly, I have come to understand that empowering is not the same as giving people power. No one can give anyone else power through education, information, resources, or a public platform. Instead, all human beings have inherent power, and through our experiences, we unleash and maximize it to a greater or lesser degree. And I continue to read. So this book is not a coach's guide to living a perfect life. Trust me, if such a text existed and we could follow it to the letter, the world would be transformed and some people would be mind-numbingly wealthy. Instead, I am going to share my life experiences to help you unlock your limiting beliefs. Because in my life, I have been through it all. I have. And then you can turn the page with me and I will read another part of the book, which is on page 37, which is titled, My Challenge to You. So my challenge to you. We all go through the same things, albeit at different degrees. How will you maximize your God-given purpose and challenge your limiting beliefs to step up and reach your potential? I had my trustee, failure, rejection, loss, defense combo, and they sometimes still live in my head, but I now know how to work with them. I know how to speak to them so they know that they are tenants, not owners. They served the purpose to protect me when I was a child, learning to deal with overwhelming change, but I manage them now. I have been able to resolve many issues through grace and a willingness to be vulnerable and persevere. This needs inspiration, information, and support. And I am here to support you. That is a reading from my book. And if you do wish to hear more, I encourage you to buy the book. There's a few things there that I would pick immediately. And one of them is inherent power. When you read this book, you realize that every woman in this book, all 13 of us, did not know that we were powerful until we wrote our stories. And this power comes from within. And therefore we learn self-awareness. And every day, my co-authors and I build on our self-awareness. And you can do the same thing too. You are more powerful than you think. Our experiences shape us, but doesn't mean that they define us. We then decide what to do with our experiences. In my book, you will see my experiences as a child growing up, And I could easily have given up. I could easily have just stood behind the wall. There is a cricket wall that I speak about in my book. I could have hidden behind that cricket wall symbolically for the rest of my life. But here I am, being an impact maker. So what is your experience? I would love for you to identify your limiting beliefs. It is scary to identify them. It is scary to come into the knowledge of knowing that you are the only person or the only thing that has been holding yourself back. It's not about anybody else. It's very scary to get to that aha moment, but it is so beautiful to be able to know that I can thank that limiting belief because it served a purpose. It continues to serve a purpose because we create limiting beliefs as long as we live. But these limiting beliefs, they help us to protect ourselves. Our brain protects us. And therefore it keeps us in that comfort zone because it doesn't like the unknown. We are afraid of the unknown. So we want to be able to identify our limiting beliefs. We want to be able to thank those limiting beliefs for bringing us thus far. And then here comes the magic. We want to choose a new narrative, a new reality. And with all this background and foundation of your limiting beliefs, you are only a stronger person. You are stepping into your power. And this is my story, stepping into my power. I am fearful. I am afraid when I wake up and I have something new that I need to step in. But I am convicted because I have walked this path before. I remind myself, you've been here before, Lucy. This too shall pass. Now walk through it with your eyes open, appreciate your successes and celebrate them. Be grateful. Pick your lessons and keep it moving forward. You can do this too. And I encourage you to be able to put your stories together. As I said, Wealth Footprints is 13 stories on the path to success. And success is your perception. What is success for you? This July, I am going to be spotlighting 3 more fellow co-authors, and they will be bringing this message and even more to the fore. I invite you to join us. It is an incredible book. We all share our knowledge and our experiences and our expertise and our stories so that we can help you move from where you are to where you want to be. Join us, join me this July with my fellow co-authors. Let us just speak about those wealth footprints that we all have and we need to step into. Well, I couldn't leave you without takeaways as I come to the end of our session today. The first takeaway is that we must fuel our inner self. What is it for you? What is it that you need to fuel yourself with? Is it the language that you speak to yourself in? Is it your image that you portray to the rest of the world? Is it the meaning that you give to life? Whatever it is, identify how you want to fuel your inner self. Because until you know yourself, only then will you be ready to step out into the world. Only then will you become an impact maker. The second takeaway is make your image an intentional journey. How do you want to step out? What is it going to look like? And what do you need to do to step out in that way? You need to put in the work. It is not something that happens overnight. You need to do something sustainable. Think about it, write it down. Once you write it down and you give it a name, it then has a life of its own. The third takeaway is stepping away from the victim mentality. I encourage you to be a creator in your life, not a victim and not in freeze mode. The fourth and the last takeaway for today in this episode is defeat is a choice. Defeat is a choice, and so is picking up the lessons and moving forward. I encourage you to remember that failure is not an option. It is a vehicle for you to learn and get stronger. And I'll just check our live feed and see. Monica, you've joined us. Great to see you here, Monica. And we see Njiri. Njiri is here. Njiri Kiambuthi, welcome. Good to see you. Loy Kwagala. I celebrate you, Loy. As I mentioned, Loy is one of my fellow co-authors. And Loy, Mind Your Image is just powerful. Thank you so much, Loy, for being here with me on this journey. And then we've got Jane Kuvuna saying, yes, you have to put in the work. Very true. We have to put in the work. All things are possible. Failure is not an option. Well, this month of July, not only am I spotlighting 3 more co-authors, I am giving away a coaching session worth 50,000 shillings. I'm going to say that again. This July, I am giving away a coaching session worth 50,000 shillings. You get 1 hour with me for 6 sessions for 50,000 shillings worth of coaching. All you have to do is buy a copy of my book at 1,500 Kenyan shillings. If you have the copy already, then you just need to be able to take a photograph of you holding the book and post it on Instagram. Now, when you post it on Instagram, I want you to do 2 things. The first one is kindly tag me. Tag me at lucy.macridis. The second thing that I want you to do is just put in one takeaway that you have from this book. How has it changed your life or given you an aha moment? Just one takeaway. And you will stand a chance to win a coaching session with me worth 50,000 shillings. The wealthiest and most successful people on the planet have used their voices to change the world. That's a very sobering thought. You can do the same thing too. I encourage you to write your story. Contact me here on the live feed or through my social media platforms and let me show you how you can write your own story and leave a legacy. Next week, we celebrate Joan Bessia as she takes on African women into the future through robotics and artificial intelligence. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, LMC Consultancy, and share with us your feedback on IG and Facebook. Remember to visit our website, which is www.lmcconsultancy.com for more on our services. Now let us help build each other. Until our next episode, be kind to yourselves. Bye-bye now.